Hello everyone, I'm Pranab Das, a student of Purdue University. Today I will be talking about our work on how much battery does dark mode save, an accurate OLED display power profiler for modern smartphones. This is a work done along with my advisor, Dr. Vaichal here. We can see that the recent generation of smartphones are adopting OLED display technology for the incredible edge over the earlier LCD technology. For our work, we have used 4 of the recent generation phones which have OLED display. Let's see how OLED technology have a great potential for optimizing app power. The content displayed on the screen directly affects the OLED display power draw. This property can be leveraged to create UI designs which can reduce the display power and doing so extend the battery life. One such UI design is to use dark theme color content on the phone, also known as dark mode. To realize the full potential, an accurate OLED display model is needed to help developers optimize power of their apps. Before we jump into the modeling of OLED display, let's take a look at the components which contribute to the OLED power. OLED display can be broadly divided into 2 parts. One is its non-OLED part, which depends on the circuitry and consumes a constant power. We call this constant power draw C as the dark screen power. The other part comes from the power consumed by the OLED pixels themselves. These pixels are made up of subpixels. We call the power consumed by the second part as pixel power. The pixel power depends on the color they are displaying. The total pixel power is found by adding up pixel power consumed by all pixels on the screen. The total display power for the OLED display is sum of the dark screen power and the pixel power. The challenge here is to model the pixel power component. To model the pixel power component, we characterize the OLED display. Before getting into the characterization of the display, let's see how to measure OLED display power components accurately. For accurate measurement of the total phone power, we use the Monster Power Monitor. To measure the dark screen power and the pixel power consumed, we create a simple low overhead Android app to simulate the screen conditions. To remove the overhead, we ran the app after acquiring the wake clock with the display turned off. We measured the total phone power consumed, which we call the base power. Then, for the dark screen power measurement, we turn on the display and display the dark screen with all the pixels set to 0. To obtain the pixel power, we displayed color images and subtracted the base power and the dark screen power from the total phone power. There are more than 16 million RGB combinations, which makes it impossible to characterize every color. A mere 2 seconds spent to capture the power for one color would take us more than a year, which makes it a non-trivial effort. To this effect, we have to model pixel power as a function of its constituent subpixel power. With the aid of the accurate measurement, let's see how the pixel power can be characterized. The first critical question we ask is the pixel power the sum of its constituent subpixel powers. We call this the superposition property. This superposition property is critical to show if subpixel powers drawn are independent of each other. The properties have been used extensively in the prior works, which we will see does not hold for modern OLED displays. Let's observe the superposition property for Moto Z3. Due to the gamma correction, the subpixel power draw is nonlinear in standard RGB scale. We transform the standard RGB into a linear format known as linear RGB, in which the subpixel power draw is linear. The estimated display power for white color is shown by the dashed magenta line. As the white color consists of red, green and blue subpixel components contributing, the magenta line shown is estimated by adding the pixel power for all the 3 subpixels and dark screen power. The measured display power for white color is shown by the black line. We observe the estimated and measured pixel power differs a lot. This indicates that the superposition property does not hold good for Moto Z3 OLED display. We observe a similar trend for the other 3 phones. This prompts us to build a complex model for pixel power as a function of subpixel powers, which can accurately cater for subpixel power dependence. Let us explore another important intuition about the pixel power and the RGB coordinate it belongs to. We asked the question whether the screen power consumed by a pixel having a lower RGB coordinate is smaller compared to a color with a higher RGB coordinate. We call this the monotonicity property. This property is essential while designing UI, as the UI designer will take it for granted that always a lighter color will consume more power. To examine the monotonicity property, we present some of the pixel power values with their respective color coordinates in the table. The examples are chosen in such a way that only the blue coordinates for color 2 is larger than that of color 1, whereas the red and green color coordinates are kept the same. According to monotonicity property, the pixel power of color 2 should have been higher than that of color 1, but we observe that this is not the case. This shows the monotonicity property getting violated in modern smartphone OLED displays. There could be several possible reasons for the non-monotonicity behavior. The subpixel utilizes common driving circuits within the display hardware module differently at different color intensities. There are handset OEM specific color transformation performed in the hardware composer that alters the canonical order of the RGB coordinate. There are other handset OEM specific customizations of the circuit that controls the pixel. Before jumping into our model design, let's see how the prior display models perform. Let's look into the relationship between the subpixel and pixel power proposed by the prior OLED models. First, we have the linear model, in which the pixel power is just the summation of its subpixel powers. In the table, we have tabulated the mean absolute prediction error across the color space for the 4 recent smartphones. As the superposition property is not being followed, we observe the error for the linear model to be large. Next, we tried generating a linear regression model by fitting 4 colors that are yellow, magenta, cyan and white from the constituent subpixel power, which are red, green and blue, for varying intensities from 0 to 55. Further, to model the subpixel dependencies, we generate the nonlinear model by adding second order and third order coupling nonlinear terms. As seen from the table, we still can't reduce the mean absolute percentage error. Next, let's find out why the linear regression could not model the pixel power. To understand the source of inaccuracies of prior models, we studied pixel power to a large extent. Since it's hard to visualize the measured pixel power for the entire 3D RGB color space, we fixed green and plotted pixel power for the 2D red-blue space by varying both red and blue intensities. The height of the top surface of the plot shows the pixel power drawn. Let's observe the 2D dissection of pixel power for pixel 5 with green fixed at 112. We observe the top surface does not fall in a plane. This is the key reason why linear regression cannot be applied to model pixel power for the entire color space. Although the top surface is not flat, let us see if we could consider it to be a reasonably smooth surface. Let's divide the top surface into grids, shown by the orange mesh. Doing so, we observe the surface for the individual small grids to be relatively smooth as shown by the green surface on the top left grid. This prompts us to use piecewise modeling techniques where we model the pixel power for the small grids independently. Let us see how we can apply our key insight to construct pixel power model for the entire 3D color space. To construct the model, we divide the entire color space into small 3D subgrids. For each subgrid, we apply a linear regression to the power values observed at the 8 corner grid points to generate a pixel power model. Thus, we create a piecewise pixel power model for the entire color space. Now, let's see how to apply this model to estimate the display power. First, we record the screen. For each pixel in the recorded screen frame, we find the subgrid it belongs to. Then we apply the pixel power model corresponding to that subgrid. For all pixels in the frame, we get the estimated OLED pixel power by summing up their individual estimated pixel powers. Then the dark screen power is added to the estimated OLED pixel power to get the total display power. Then we want to make the model work in real time. The modern smartphone screen operates at a frame rate of 60 frames per second, which means that we should calculate the screen power well within 16.7 milliseconds for the model to work satisfactorily in real time. As we see from the table, this takes much longer than 16.7 milliseconds to estimate the display power. To meet the 16.7 millisecond timing requirement, we apply uniform sampling. We applied a uniform sampling ratio of 100 by choosing one pixel from a 10 cross 10 grid. With sampling, we meet the 16.7 millisecond timing requirement. This just adds a small additional prediction error, hence it does not affect the accuracy of the model. Let us see how much our model is improving the estimation accuracy. To evaluate our model, we capture screenshots for 5 activities from 6 popular Google apps with a sampling ratio of 100. We compare the prior model's error with our piecewise model. We observe a huge reduction in screen power estimation error. The error reduced by 2.3 to 5.8 times for light and 4.4 to 5.8 times for dark mode as compared to the prior models. We developed 2 exciting tools using our accurate piecewise power model. Both of these tools are for developers and for the phone users, for using which they can explore, quantify, and improve the user experience. First, we develop an offline profiler per frame OLED display profiler. It is designed to identify all UI components of the app activity and estimate the display power drawn by each UI component. This tool can help developers to gain insight and aid them to optimize their app. Second, we introduce Battery Plus, which is an enhancement to Android Battery. Android Battery does not provide per app screen energy and uses LCD power model, whereas Battery Plus provides accurate per app screen energy and screen usage time. This can be used to manage apps to extend battery life. For more information, please refer to our paper. Now we will answer our title question, how much battery does dark mode save? We ran typical user interaction lasting for 60 seconds for the same 6 popular apps. Using Battery Plus, we observed that switching from light to dark mode saves 60 to 67% in display power, which translates to 39 to 47% in total power savings at full brightness. Whereas for 30% brightness, we only save 10 to 16% in display power, which translates to saving 3 to 6% in total power. For further details and analysis, please refer to our paper. To summarize, we showed modern OLED smartphone displays violate both superposition and monotonicity properties. We developed an accurate OLED display power model which improves accuracy over prior models and runs in real time. We created 2 tools which enhance Android battery and help developers to optimize UI design for power. We performed the first extensive study answering how much battery does dark mode save. Thank you.